These are the 3 best Town Hall 15 attack strategies you will need to try out in 2023 in Clash of Clans. So let's start simple. One of the best attack strategies and arguably one of the best troops in the game, the Electro Titan, is by far really strong. Using her in a simple Electro Titan smash works really well against a lot of different bases, but especially bases where you have easy movement, like ring bases. This attacker from Empire Gaming does use this attack with the goal of using a queen charge to start going ahead and funneling out one side. This is really good, especially for a ring base like this, where he could also use the battle blimp to snipe off the eagle and the monolith that are within the core. This not only gives him great value, but it is also very flexible, considering that there were mortars at most of these corners alongside ground expos to counter the flame flinger. That is why the flame flinger was not chosen, but a short queen charge with the battle blimp to go a little bit deeper and snipe down the 2 key defenses is really important. Even pulling the poison spell tower is also really nice. Otherwise, he's able to easily deal with the enemy CC and allows that queen charge to continue to move on. But you should always create the other side of the funnel with the use of the king and witches. This is by far the easiest way to create the other side of the funnel and to simulate like a siege barrack, in my opinion. In any case, you want to send in the Electro Titans after that with the ice golem. As they move themselves around the ring, you need to make sure that you have something that goes into the core, and that could either be the Electro Titans or it could also be the Archer Queen. And the Archer Queen will do a lot of work, and that should allow you to get into the Town Hall. Now, in this case, the base had open wall segments, so in any case, it would be different if the compartments were closed off. He takes advantage of those. Using a Grand Warden ability around the core keeps everything alive. This also includes, surprisingly, the Poison Lizard, which is actually really good when you consider that it does provide a lot of support while it's being tanked for by the Electro Titans. Otherwise, you can more easily move around the ring, and realistically, Electro Titans don't need spells. They are one of the very troops that really work without spells, so all the spells can be used to provide much more support for the actual funneling and the queen charge portion. This is just one way of using the Electro Titans, and you'll see another way from which I did it, and probably by far the more easier and more casual player way. For our second army, we have the use of the Super Bowler Smash. This attack strategy works really well against ring style bases and is really flexible. In any case, one way that this is flexible is through the Siege Machine. Usually you're using a Flame Flinger, but instead you can use a Battle Blimp. Just like from this pro player, being able to use the Queen Charge to create one part of the funnel. Very similar to the first attack you saw in this video. But of course, the Battle Blimp is being used similarly to snipe out the monolith, and this gives him a huge amount of value when it comes to the funneling. So that is an incredibly important thing. Otherwise, the Yeti Blimp here is able to remove the monolith and makes it easier to create the funnel. This is where he can use the Barbarian King and Witches on the other side, while using the Grand Warden to support the Queen and give her more HP. This is where the attacker now can send in the Ice Golems, Electro Titan, and the Super Bowlers. You really only need to use 3, since you might want to still bring all those other troops as they enter in. This now means that you'll want to make sure that you try to get towards the Town Hall. Even if it goes down to the Archer Queen, you should be completely fine. Free spells are really nice at making sure to halt any progression of enemy CC troops and the Town Hall. It's really important stuff. You'll want to make sure though that after the Town Hall goes down, or as you get closer to it, use that Grand Warden ability to protect everything, and that especially means if you're going into something like the single target Inferno. Otherwise, the attacker got a little bit lucky in having the Queen go into the core. Otherwise, the Royal Champion's next. Using her up towards the top of the base and allowing her to move with your push adjacent allows you to finish off the rest of the base, even if all of your Super Bowlers die, which more often than not will happen. Town Hall 15 is such a huge damage spike that they are not going to survive all the time. Especially with only 3, you are losing out on a lot of power. But with the help of Diggy, This is a really strong strategy, and it becomes so dominant on the back end because the Royal Champion with that stun can really do a lot of work and get you the 3-star. And of course, I'm not a pro player, but I wanted to show you my attack, which is pretty much the Super Archer Blimp Titans. This works incredibly well against bases that are pretty open, and especially ring-style bases. And in this case, I go ahead and start using a couple balloons to snipe off buildings, but also look for any Seeking Air Mines. My goal was to get into that small compartment by the Eagle and the Inferno. This means that I can just turn one of them invisible and then start using the cloned Super Archers once they started firing. Otherwise, I time them every 4 seconds and they just get a massive amount of value. All the value that I really wanted them to get from the plan and then some. It's pretty much a lot of really sweet value, and they stay up all because the Ice Golem CC, which made it super easy as long as I made sure that none of them left that ring. Otherwise, I just then started with my other side of the funnel with the use of the Archer Queen, and then use some healers on her to make sure that we're doing that she's staying healed up. That way I can use the King and some witches on the other side, and then start sending in the Ice Golem, the Electro Titans, the Warden of course, as they move in towards the Monolith. And the Rage spell towers really aren't that big of a threat either. You just have to really make sure that what you're doing is making sure to move through the base and using that Grand Warden ability efficiently. One of the biggest issues I did have per se is having the healers go through that Town Hall Poison, and they will die through the Town Hall Poison, which will leave your Electro Titans vulnerable, which means they more than likely will die to an enemy hero, especially if they are raged. So it doesn't really help the fact I could have brought headhunters to help deal with it. Otherwise though, it's still really possible to get through with this, considering heroes are a big factor and they allow you to get a ton of great value. In this case, having the Royal Champion still up with her ability allows the Royal Champion, the Archer Queen, the Grand Warden to get a lot of really good value, and really helps everything continue to move through and have the cleanup easily get through it. I wanted to show this attack. I thought this was the perfect plan and a great way to showcasing probably one of the best attack strategies right now for those of you, just like me, who are more casual. And while all of these attacks are really good, of course there are others, but I personally believe that Electro Titans and Super Bowlers are by far right now one of the best troops in the game for Town Hall 15 specifically. So let me know if you want to see more different list type videos, such as maybe attack mistakes or things you didn't know. Let me know in the comments below.